A lot of folks love to go outside at night and check out the comets we're told that are going to be going overhead. But in this film, you want to try to avoid it. Let's talk about it. Hey, welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone's doing well out there. And today we're going to veer off into horror/sci-fi/comedy territory with 1984's Night of the Comet. This film was released November 16th of 1984. It's an hour and 35 minutes long. It's PG-13, had a budget of $700,000, which was a lower budgeted film, and it grossed $14.4 million, which was a nice little size hit for this small little distribution company called Atlantic Releasings, I believe was the name of the company. They had done Valley Girl the year before, had some success with that, and they wanted to do this film. This film was written and directed by Tom Everhart, and he saw this as kind of, after speaking to some of the women in the cast, and that he envisioned it of more of like an adventurous with some horror sci-fi film in it, but keep it a little bit more lighthearted. The studio wasn't sure if they wanted to release a more harder-edged horror film, more straightforward horror film, or keep it with what Tom Everhart envisioned. Tom Everhart got his way and got to make the film he wanted to make, the way he wanted to make it, so it actually kind of worked out. Now, I remember watching this a lot. It used to be on USA Up All Night with Rhonda Shear and Gilbert Gottfried back in the day. And a station on New York, in the area I grew up in, WPIX 11 on New York, used to play this every Halloween time. So I saw this quite often as a kid on TV. Now, in this film, we got Catherine Mary Stewart as Regina Belmont. She's one half of the sister team that we're going to follow throughout this film. And she had been in the same year. She was in The Last Starfighter. And later on, she was in Weekend at Bernie's. She was on a soap opera. I think Days of Our Lives is a soap opera she was on for a while. I think she was on like 84 episodes or something I saw. And she was in other things as well. Kelly Maroney plays Samantha Belmont, her sister, and she was in a soap opera as well. Which one I can't remember, but she was in Chopping Mall as well, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So she was, she acted for a long time. I don't think she's active anymore though. Robert Beltran plays Hector in this film. He's a truck driver who gets kind of thrown into the situation with the girls. And we just spoke about him last week with Lone Wolf McQuaid. He played Chuck Norris's character's partner in that film. And he's fantastic here as well. We have the great Jeffrey Lewis as Dr. Carter. And Mary Warrenoff as Audrey. She's a doctor. These doctors set up this secret facility because this comet that's basically is the reason why everything happens in this film hasn't been around since the dinosaurs. And the last time it flew overhead, the dinosaurs went extinct. So they are suspicious. They're afraid something's going to happen when it goes over. So they build this facility in the desert, and they kind of hunker down in this facility. But everybody else in the public, they don't warn anybody. There are other people in the public are having big parties, watch parties outside. And Regina and Samantha's stepmom, is having a big party out front to watch this comet go over. Their dad is in the special forces, and he's away with the military, and Regina works at this movie theater. There was a real movie theater in LA. I don't know if it's still open, and we see her playing a video game just like Last Starfighter. She's a video game geek, and her name's on the top 10 except for one spot, number 5 or 4. This BKM or BKM, whatever, took her spot, and she's trying to get it back, but her boss keeps telling her, get back to work. I need you to clean the theater so we can get the hell out of here. But she ends up staying behind with the projectionist, and they have sex. But she's more interested in talking about other things, but she ends up having sex with this guy. And they stay in the projection room, which is coated with steel, and they never see the comet. And Samantha never sees the comet either because she gets in a fight with her stepmother, and she goes off and she stays in the storage building out back. But everybody sees the comet the next morning turn to dust. Their clothes, there's a pile of clothes there on the sidewalk and a little bit of dust, and that's it. And the people that don't turn into dust, we find out quickly, turn into these zombies, these psychopathic zombies. Because Regina has a run-in with one in the alley. The projectionist gets killed by one, and she has to fight one off, and she takes his motorcycle and drives back to her house where she finds her sister. And they hear the radio. Her sister, Regina's very smart, and she kind of pieces together what's going on pretty quickly. Samantha's more in denial. She doesn't believe it at first. But they hear the radio broadcaster broadcasting over the radio, so they go downtown to the radio station, and they find out, unfortunately, that it's a recording, that there's nobody live in the studio. And this is where we're introduced to Hector. He's there, too. He's a truck driver who was passing through, who stayed overnight, but he was in the back of his cab, so he never saw the comet either. And now they're kind of together trying to figure out what the hell's going on. In the meantime, the this special base figures out that there's survivors, and some of the doctors want to go get the survivors and bring them back. Dr. Audrey doesn't want to do that. So at first, you think she's a bad guy, like she's not a good person. But we find out later in the film that actually she was doing these survivors a favor. Now, Hector goes back to San Diego for a quick trip to see if his family's all right. Unfortunately, they're not. He grabs some personal things. He's running with a zombie, and he gets back in his truck and heads back to L.A. Samantha and Regina, Samantha's kind of feeling a little bit down about the situation, so Regina, for a pick-me-up, takes her to the mall. And they have a run-in with these guys that used to work at the mall and are slowly turning into zombies who take them and are going to do bad things to them. But the army shows up and saves them and these doctors. And right away, Audrey says that Samantha's not, she's infected because she's starting to have rashes. But Samantha tells him, no, I get rashes when I'm stressed out, and I'm stressed out. But so they take Regina because she's healthy, and they take her back to the facility. And Audrey puts Samantha to sleep. Now, the other doctor thinks she's injecting her with something to kill her. And Audrey plays it off like she is, but here she doesn't. She puts her to sleep with a sleeping agent and shoots the other doctor. Because here what these doctors realize is they were exposed the night the comet went over because they left the vents open to the outside. And they're all slowly turning into these zombies. And they think they're going to take healthy people and produce blood from them, make them brain dead, and just use their bodies to make blood and create a serum to fix themselves. And Audrey doesn't want that for these people they already took 2 children back, and Audrey tried to stop them, but they took them anyway. And she knows the horrors these people are about to, they're just going to be used as a blood factory. So she saves Samantha, really, by doing this. And Regina is back at the facility, and she knows something's up. The more she talks to this one doctor played by Jeffrey Lewis, she knows something's up. So she fights her way trying to get out of there. Meanwhile, Hector shows up, gets Samantha, and they go to this facility, and they try to help get Regina out, which they do, and the kids. They blow up these zombie doctors, and they go back to L.A., and they realize they're the last people alive that they've seen anyway, and they're going to stick together. And that's pretty much the end of Night of the Comet. This is a really fun B movie. They don't take it so seriously. I mean, there are some serious spots, but it's more like an adventure film. It's fun. There's some sci-fi elements. There's some horror elements with the zombies. The makeup's pretty good on those. It's not gory. It's a PG-13 movie. There is some blood, but it's not overly gory. They did some improvisation. I want to talk about this scene. The girls, Regina and Samantha know because her dad told them there's some military weapons nearby, this armory for the National Guard. So they go and get these MAC-10s, and they're out in the street practicing with it. Samantha is. And this movie didn't have a lot of money. So I was watching an interview with Catherine Meredith Stewart and Kelly Maroney, and they said our soap opera training really helped during this film, because in soap operas you get like one take and we keep moving because they have to get these episodes done. So in the movie we get 2 takes, and we thought that was great because we never got 2 takes on our soap opera days. She said, but the guns kept jamming because the director wanted Uzis, but they brought him MAC-10s, and MAC-10s have a tendency to jam. So Kelly Maroney was shooting this gun, and it kept jamming, and they had to kept redoing takes. And the director told her, you just keep going. Say whatever comes to your mind because we can't retake this, so just keep going with the scene. So the gun, she shoots the car, but the gun jams, and she says this line, it was totally improvisational. See, that's the problem with these things. Daddy would have gotten us Uzis. And Catherine Mary Stewart just looks at her and says, well, the car didn't know the difference. And that was it. And that was all improvised. That was not in the script. The original title for this film was Teenage Mutant Horror Comet Zombies, which would have been fabulous. Heather Langenkamp actually auditioned for the role of Samantha, but Tom Eberhardt really wanted Kelly Maroney, so he got his way. But it's a fun movie. It's pretty well shot for a low-budget affair. I like what they do making the sky look red, obviously with filters and such. The makeup effects on the zombies look cool. The story is a fun story. It's not meant to be taken so seriously. It's just to have fun. I would give this film a 7.5 out of 10. It's a fun time. If you've never seen it, I'd recommend it. A 7.5 out of 10 for Night of the Comet. If you've ever seen this film, leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video. I greatly would appreciate that. I will be back soon with another review. Until then, I'll see you next time.